This message brought to you by Chicanos por la Causa.
Bienvenidos and welcome back to another segment with Dr. Jose Leyba and La Plática. We're really excited at La Plática because we're starting a new series called Los Angeles Boulevard News, and we're here at historic ELAC College to highlight all the positive things that are happening in our community. The Chicano culture is something very special. It's unique. It's a superpower culture. You know, our nanas and tatas, taught us all these old traditions. And there's a tradition that is very important to our community, the lowrider tradition. Today, I'm really honored to have Mr. Hernandez, a.k.a. Spanks, with the Imperials Car Club, who's here to tell you his story. And I want our viewers to really understand that. That's our goal here, and our mission is to have us tell our own stories, because if we don't, somebody else will, right?
That's right. We got to know the narrative.
Good.
Own it.
Welcome today, and Spanks, or what would you
call me Spanks, that's fine.
Okay. Spanks, what would you like to tell our audience of over 1 million viewers about your growing up? And then we'll go into how you became an administrator and how you become involved in the lowriding culture.
Okay, so born and raised in East Los Angeles. My mother told me I was born at the hospital of movie stars, which was the county hospital. So born in 1958, raised by a single parent, grew up in East L.A. We were, poor on welfare, but we were happy, Mom always provided for us. Went to schools in East Los Angeles. Again, knowing the importance of being raised by a single parent. She didn't know any better. She tried her best. She had 4 of us. But we were always properly clothed. We were always, ready for school. We always had our sack lunches back in the day. And, it was a great childhood, a great childhood. I had the opportunity to live around the corner from this famous car, the Gypsy Rose, the Valadez family. And again, not having a father figure in my life, Jesse Sr. Kind of took me under his wing. And I would see the guys hang out when I was about 8 years old at the corner store on a Friday afternoon or Friday evening. And I would say, you know what, look at these guys, are nicely dressed. Look at these guys, the way they conduct themselves. And I remember the center of that group was Jesse Valadez. And so moving along a couple of years after that, I would go and take a look at the 1963 Gypsy Rose, which was the second Gypsy Rose. And again, clean the car for him. Clean the rims, clean the white walls, getting it ready for the boulevard or down to Sunday meetings where the Imperials would meet. Then there was an accident with the 63, and then it became a 64 black Impala. And then I remember he bought it for about $800. Red interior, deep black. And then I remember taking them all apart. I said, "What are you doing?" He says, "Well, we're going to get a painted Gypsy Rose again."
Wow. And
so that 3-year voyage of helping them, visiting the paint shop every weekend to see the progress on how the paint was coming along, and having the opportunity to help them put it together, the chrome strips, the bumpers, the rims, and then taking it off to the upholstery shop. But that taught me a lot right there. He had great integrity, and you know what? I want to be like him. So he was my mentor.
Wow.
He was my mentor, and then the opportunity came where graduated from Garfield High School here in East Los Angeles, not knowing what to do. Matter of fact, came here to East L.A. College. I was on a 4-year scholarship, but at that time, all these colleges were sending brochures. SC, there was a affirmative action program where they would pay for my tuition, books, everything, housing, but I chose East L.A. College. Why? It's because they gave me a stipend of $600 every month.
And that's what a lot of people here in East L.A. have chosen ELAC, and that's why we're so happy that the administration here has cooperated and allowed us to film here. But you mentioned something that I've heard a lot of young kids, as a former teacher, talk about how the lowriders, the individuals that own their cars, have sort of mentored them, and I don't think anybody has ever heard that story, so I really appreciate you telling that. So now you're really involved with the Imperials, but you've also been a principal and district office administrator, so how do you get those two careers to align?
Well, it's funny though, because I was in the club, got into the club in 1975. By that time, the club was 10 years old. This club was founded in 1965. And in 2025, which is next year, we'll be celebrating our 60th anniversary.
Wow, congratulations. That's something our viewers should know. 60 years of the Imperials Car Club.
Lowriding. And then started at Garfield High School with a group of 5, maybe 6 guys that were hanging around together, didn't know what to do, but they had a common interest of cars. And so they formed the Imperials Car Club. But going back to my story about getting into the club in 1975. I was in it for about 10 years. And again, my mentor, Jesse, says, you know what, Spanks, it's about time you get out. Huh? Get out of the Imperials. I'm having fun going down the boulevard. I'm cruising. I'm, doing all the social events, all these social events with the car club. He says, you need to get out. I says, why? He says, this will be here when you get back. You need to go finish your education at the college. I said, wow. I was hurt. But at the same time, I said, he's my mentor. Orale, I'll follow your words and advice.
That's an amazing story. So big shout out to him, man.
Yeah, he says, amazing. This will be here when you get back. So I had the opportunity to go to Cal State L.A., got my BA in child development, not knowing what I wanted to be. Became a teacher assistant at a school in East Los Angeles at Humphreys Humphreys Elementary School. And I had another great mentor, Ada Murmur. Here's this white Jewish lady who was principal of an elementary school in East Los Angeles, but she was all heart and soul. And she wanted the advancement of all our Chicano kids. I wanted them moving forward. And she kept pushing me. Eugene, you're a young Chicano, you need to get out there, become a teacher. And so I became an assistant, teacher assistant at that school. And she kept pushing me. You got to finish your degree. You got to finish your degree. She gave me an 8-hour job, 6 hours as a teacher assistant, 2 hours after school in the playground. And then in the evening, I was going to Cal State L.A. So I said, I was working with some teachers, and I said, you know what? I could do that job. I can become a teacher. I want to. So then finished up, got my credential, started teaching in El Sereno at Sierra Park Elementary School in 2nd grade. Always wore a tie to school. Every single day, a suit or a tie. Why? For 3 reasons. Number 1, I'm a professional now. Number 2 is parents respect you more.
Correct.
And number 3, you need to be a role model for the young men. So every day, coat and tie. Never wore jeans or dressed down Friday. Always. Then I saw the job what the assistant principal was doing, and I said, you know what? I can do that. I can do that.
Right.
So I went back, got my master's in education administration, became an assistant principal in L.A. Unified for 4 years. Took the principal's exam because I said, you know what? I could do that job.
I can do that.
And then was on the list for about a year, not in a hurry to become principal, because once you got the chair, you're ultimately responsible and accountable for everything that happens on that school site. Interesting enough, I became a principal. I was a principal for 15 years in L.A. Unified.
Congratulations. That's a long tenure to be a principal.
Thank you.
I'm sure you affected a lot of kids, and so all my respect and admiration for those 15 years.
Thank you. And it's about establishing, for me, my goal was establishing a strong relational culture with the school community, which included parents, which included the students, which included the store owners. So it was important that, again, I established a strong relational culture. I used to tell my staff, parents and students come first at my building. And teachers would look at me, what do you mean? I said, because you know why? We drive in and out every day. They're here 24/7. So whatever we do for them. So having high expectations, but again, modeling those expectations, we became high achieving at my second school. I had the opportunity in 2006 to open up a brand new school in East Hollywood.
Wow.
Over 1,000 kids, 11 different languages spoken. And we became high achieving. But not because of me. My leadership, yes, but having a solid team to, again, believe in my values and goals of what's good for these kids. And we worked under the radar. So we just did the work. Let our work speak for us. And then after that, I was tapped on the shoulder by the superintendent to be an administrator for over 168 schools.
Now, that's a huge responsibility, right? I mean, 168 schools under your leadership, under your direction, and you probably said, I can do that.
I could do that. You're right. You're right. And so when I would visit schools, again, I don't ask people to do anything I wouldn't do. That was my model también, right? I also modeled a lot for principals because I had a lot of principals and assistant principals and administrators under me. And I wanted them to give their best, to do their best, because every system's perfectly designed to get the results that it gets. So then did that. And then by that time, it was maybe started working on a car. So as I visited schools, particularly high schools, I would see different groups. The changes of when I went to high school, hey, hurry up, Hernandez, get to class. There was an adult leading or telling people what to do and get back. Nowadays, everybody's walking on their cell phones, AirPods, baseball caps, hoods. So I would go up to a group of kids in the corner. Hey, how are you? Who are you? Who's this man dressed up, right?
Right.
Are you the principal? No, no. I just want to show how's everything going, okay? And then I would bring out my phone, pop up my phone, and I would show my lowrider. Is that your car? I said, yeah. So right away it goes back to the establishing that strong relational culture with our kids. And I think that's what's needed in our schools today. Adults need to know who our kids are.
Well, that's a great message. As we close, what would you like to say about changing the stereotype about lowriders and what you and the Imperials are doing to that? Because you've been profiled, featured on a couple of other news stations, but I don't think they have told the story the way you just told it right now, which is amazing. So as we close, what would you say?
I think the strongest words I'd like to give is that please don't judge us by our looks or by our cars. Judge us of what we do in the community, and we give back to the community. We do Christmas car shows, which we raise toys and we give back. Judge us by who we are, not what we look like. And that's the most important message that I like to give, because we're just a bunch of good old local people that grew up in the Barrio, and we're still the same humble people that are not there anymore, but we're still humble.
Well, so I really want to thank you for being here today. Spanks, Mr. Hernandez, the principal, the district office administrator. I can do it.
I could do it, that's right.
That's a funny story because, you know, no one in my family has a doctorate. No one knew what it was. They thought it was a medical degree. And I saw some of the individuals that were doctors that said, I can do that. So you know what? That's a great message. I love your message about don't judge us. I will tell your viewers that are Latinos that don't know about the lowriding culture, but other audiences that don't know, please don't judge us. This is a positive impact for our culture. And you can see, here's a principal who's a member of the Imperials Car Club, and there's Gypsy Rose. That was your key to being a successful person.
The most famous lowrider of all time.
Okay, the most famous lowrider of all time. So with that, we'll leave our message. LA Boulevard News is here to stay. We're going to be coming back with greater stories like Spanks' story and others about this culture, which is an amazing part of us. We're very proud of it, and it's going to keep going on. It's in 8 states right now. It's in a lot of other countries.
Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you for getting that message out.
Good. So Dr. Jose Leyba signing off with LA Boulevard News here at the historic ELAC. Download the Latino USA TV app, and you will see a site called LA Boulevard News where you'll be able to see all these interviews. They'll be there in perpetuity, and history is being made right now. Muchas gracias. Adiós y hasta la próxima vez.
Gracias. Thank you.